go.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen, February 23rd, 2015. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and good evening. Gentlemen, warrant to be signed, and why don't we jump to new business, item 3, declaration of support or no support of mosquito control funding for fiscal year 2016. We have the health agent, Deb Rogers, here, so you want to come on up? Good evening. So I have a question, support or no support? Like, is this is all for the funding, right?
Correct, this is an annual.
$1,589,966 for the region, right?
40,000 is ours.
And it's 40 for us?
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay. 40,230 for Georgetown. It's a lot of spraying.
Yes, it is.
Gentlemen, you have any questions?
Yeah, why are there so many bugs at American Legion Park? Mosquitoes are brutal when we're out there playing softball in the middle of the summer. I know it's there's a lot of snow on the ground now, but man,
Right,
all
right.
this water, it's probably going to be even worse.
I agree with that, and we can talk to Northeast Mosquito Control and ask if they want to. You can have regular spraying. Actually, any resident can call the number. We get numerous calls throughout the season to give out the number, and it's a recording. You just leave your address. It's free to the residents to be sprayed, and they can be sprayed, on a weekly basis if they wanted to be. And then we also have the property exclusions. We have right now, I think there's 4. Usually by spring we'll have maybe 6 to 10 at the most that exclude against it, whether it be a beekeeper or somebody that doesn't want to be sprayed. And they just have to send a certified letter to the town clerk from January 1st to March 1st, saying they want to be excluded from mosquito spraying with their address. So they have that option. But this town, as far as I've seen, the majority of the town wants to be sprayed. I have very little that don't want to be sprayed because of the dangers with the Tripoli and West Nile.
Is that where they're driving the truck around? The neighborhoods and stuff?
Yeah, it's a pickup truck, and you don't even hear it. Back in the day, you used to, see the fog and smell it, and not smell it, but really see it, and it was a big. Now you don't even really notice. The pickup truck just drives through, and that's it. Yeah.
And they deem that pretty effective?
Yeah, they do. They do. They find that it's and it just to keep it down because of the Tripoli and the West Nile virus.
Is there any way to make sure that American Legion gets on the schedule, and maybe even like an extra 1 or 2 during that stretch from like June 1st to the end of August?
Yeah, I can. I will definitely tell them.
Add another couple.
Sure.
I mean, it's brutal.
I will do that.
Yeah.
It is. They
it's
can also
brutal.
do some lava sightings if there's any wetlands near around and things like that to really
the pucks
help
and
the
everything.
population. Yeah. So and because the water's right there too, so we can talk to them about that area.
Yeah,
They do
especially-
have targeted areas throughout the town that they do.
Right.
Where there's wetlands and stuff. But I will definitely talk to them on
All
it.
right, great.
Okay.
The mushball guys will really appreciate
Oh,
it.
sure, I'm sure. There's certain areas that
Not
are
just the mushball guys, but it's everybody.
I agree.
Brutal.
And there are certain
it is brutal.
places
Oh.
that are brutal. So,
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Welcome.
They've got a meeting later this week now. Do you go to that?
The annual meeting?
Yeah.
No, we usually go to the training ones on if there's things that have changed to the state or something. But the annual meeting this is more on the financial part of it and all that.
Yeah.
And we don't attend that one.
I got a question, maybe more for Mike then. And that is, page 7, Mike, on the budget. And I mean, they've got a payroll it might also be for David. Got a payroll of $720,000 and fringe benefits of $320. That's a little under 45%. Is that typical? I think I might have asked this before.
It's not out of the norm, unfortunately.
I mean, they've got it broken down, but pension, and it says fringe and payroll
Yeah,
tax.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, so that's, so they've got the fringe benefits, which would be vacation, insurance, and then probably the matching amount that you pay for tax.
Right,
Social Security.
I take it,
Mhm.
and then,
FICA. Mhm.
just seems high to me.
Yeah, it's running 50%, right?
Well, a
Almost,
little under, a little
yeah.
under 45%.
Well,
Then if you actually, you looked at what's budgeted for fiscal year 16, it's a lot closer, because they, for some reason, they got payroll down anticipated, but yet the same amount of
Well, they
fringe
just broke out
benefits.
the overtime,
So
is
that's
all they
getting
did.
closer to 50% of fringe benefits.
yeah, they just broke out the overtime, Gary, really. Well, they did take a little bit
A little
off.
bit off, yeah.
35,000.
Yeah. Well, it is a
Yeah, it is what it is.
state job. It's broken, it's a nice looking budget, what they've got here, I think. It's got what each town is paying for a percentage, and I take it that goes by what you need, because I see Ipswich is up there, they're up over 6%, and I imagine being with the marsh over there in Ipswich, Newbury and Rowley is sort of following that, it's
That's
the amount
correct.
that
That's
they
correct.
spray.
Because they do some,
was-
I know in Newbury, they do some, air spraying and things like that all through the marsh and things, so I would assume that that would absolutely add to their budget.
So I guess that's the percentage of their budget, correct? Yeah, okay. And Georgetown does have a lot of wetlands, obviously.
And they have been excellent. When we had the Tripoli horse and the Tripoli case with, the resident here, they were excellent. I mean, they're on the phone, they came to our meetings, they'll come right out, they'd come if you asked them to come out to talk to them. And they were on it, and they do targeted, and they do watch our areas, and there's specific areas here that they still, to this day, are spraying in that area, so.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, entertain a motion to support the mosquito control funding for fiscal year 2016 as presented.
So move. Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
All right. So,
Rogers, you're
we'll
back in
concentrate
business.
a little bit on American Legion, that would be great.
I will
Yeah.
tell them.
Everybody's life will
I will
have
tell
time.
them, and again,
I'm gonna raise our.
again, if anybody is excluded, they're more than welcome to write a letter to the town clerk to have to create another copy, so. Okay,
Thanks,
thank
Deb.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for mentioning that also.
What's that?
Thanks for mentioning those dates, I mean,
Yeah,
who's thinking of mosquitoes right now, but you really gotta have it in, you said by.
so that they know who is on their list, so when they
Yeah,
start, so
okay.
the spring, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
There you don't forget warrant over here, Steve. Welcome. Minutes for February 11th. Are there any?
Yeah, page 2, Mr. Chairman, third paragraph, just a typo. It says, Mr. Surface asked if is also under state stature, meaning state statute, right, Mr. Surface? If it is also covered under state statute, not stature. Yeah.
Nope.
Statute.
Yeah.
That's all I could see.
Gary, anything?
No, I'll make a motion to approve with that change.
Okay. All those in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Abstain again. I was absent.
Okay. Item number 2. From Chief Cudmore. Dear Chairman Eggenberg, please reference the attached letter. After 33 years of service to the police department, Lieutenant Dave Thompson is retiring effective March 27, 2015. I want to personally thank Lieutenant Thompson for his years of service to the residents of the town of Georgetown. Through several administrations and many changes in the policing profession, Lieutenant Thompson was able to maintain his professionalism and dedication to our community. On behalf of the entire police department, we wish Lieutenant Thompson all the best in his retirement and many years of good health and happiness. Respectfully submitted, Donald C. Cudmore, Chief of Police. So, David, thank you for all of your service, and we really appreciate it, and you will be missed, and we hope you really improve your golf game, or whatever you're gonna be doing in retirement, so thank you for all of your service.
Absolutely, thank you.
Just on a note, most of the board members were in attendance on Saturday down at Noonan's for the presentation of the Boston Post cane to the oldest citizen in town, who we had the honor of presenting it to Mr. Ken Noonan, who on Saturday was celebrating his 100th birthday, and he had his entire family and everybody there, and it was a blast. I appreciate Council on Aging for coming out and making their presentation and gifts, and the Historical Society, Ed was there as well. Desjardins, thank you for the history on the Boston Post cane, and we wish Ken and the Noonan family all the best, and congratulations on him achieving one heck of a milestone, being the oldest citizen in Georgetown. It was a lot of fun catching up with everybody. Item number 4 and 5. So we have annual town meeting warrant that we need to close, which will be for Monday, May 4th, 2015, and the special town meeting warrant for Monday, May 4th, 2015. And we have a discussion and a vote on the articles. So why don't we move to that? We have an additional article here, so that is on
Thank you.
a separate page.
Yes, this is an article made necessary by a donation of land in regards to the Turning Leaf subdivision approval process. It was a condition of the planning board for the donation. It was also a condition of the Conservation Commission. So it will need to be approved, the acceptance of the gift before the selectmen can accept it, since it's land, has to be approved by town meeting vote.
Okay. So we'll add this into the warrant. Sure.
So we're referring to section E on what says page 5 of 12. Mike?
Yes,
It's got that highlighted,
yes.
so and that's what we've got, the next page is the quitclaim deed.
Correct.
Now, this says that, in this section E, that's the last sentence, which 1.8 acres of the 81,503 square feet are located entirely outside of the jurisdictional areas of the Conservation Commission and DEP. Now, you're saying it's coming in from both, but this is the same parcel
It is,
that's going to both.
yes.
And so does the Conservation Commission have a problem with who's got the 1.89 acres in there? Was that from Conservation, Planning, or?
This comes from the approval that was recorded by the planning board.
And so do you know, does the Conservation say pretty much the same thing, or are they leaving out, are they looking for the whole thing to be on the Conservation?
They both, the Conservation Commission, as in their discussion in the permitting process, always said this would be under the control and care of the Conservation Commission. That was their intent. When they made the motion, and when they, if you read the motion, it just says accept the land, period.
Okay.
The planning board was much more specific. They said under, the care and control of the Parks and Recreation Commission.
But they're not looking for the whole thing.
Yes, they are. Yeah, it's not, you can't subdivide the property.
Well, I don't know that it would that be a subdivision? It just says that it's to be open space parcel, 4,108, 190. And it says of these are upland areas of which 1.89 acres are located entirely outside of the jurisdictional areas. So that's the part that I'm not, because,
Well, I don't know that it is relevant, to be honest with you. They're donating the entire 14-acre parcel.
okay, so it's a 14-acre parcel.
Yes. Of which 1.89 supposedly are upland and not within the
Concom
Concom
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Okay.
So how's your math, Dave? Does that add up to the 14 acres? It still doesn't look like.
Yeah, at the very top, it says 14.63 acres, and then it breaks it out in the 9.6 and the 1.89.
Which doesn't,
It says 9.6 acres of open space parcel and upland areas of which 1.89 acres are located entirely outside the district. So they're not describing the whole parcel. They're saying that in total it's 14.63, and they're just identifying two pieces of it.
so I guess, can we get some representatives in here to help us? Cause I wanna tell the board, I don't know that I am in favor of giving, at this point right now, any more, letting conservation take any more land. Maybe a rather strong statement, but they've got parcels of land that they've been supposed to do things with, and it seems like nothing is happening. And it seems like anytime we get a chance to get some land that the town can use, they want it, and nothing's to happen on it. And I just don't know that I can continue on that. And we're
Well-
taking land off tax dollars. I mean, granted, a lot of this may not add up to a lot, but as you add these all up, they do start to add up, and they sit there and nobody can do anything with them.
Well, this one, as I understand it specifically, is gonna be in the hands of the rec department.
Well, I think there's some confusion over that.
Yeah, if I could stick my
There's
2
a lot
cents
of
in.
confusion.
Yeah.
We need
Legal will
we need-
clean that up.
We need an explanation on this.
Well,
from
I've-
someone,
I've-
from Howard or somebody else.
They both claim ownership, they both want to own the property, and the uses, that's why the use is left blank.
Who's
Because
they?
The Conservation Commission and the Planning Board. Well, the Planning Board wants it to go to Parks and Rec.
Park and Rec.
Open space.
And the Conservation Commission doesn't want it to go there. They want it to go under their care and control for passive recreation, meaning just, you can look at it, you can walk through it, and that's it.
Don't take any of it home.
Right.
Well, the question is, in order to get the development going, you know, as part of the whole arc, to a resolution at some point down the road, then as part of the permit and the approval, we have to accept this, was an assumption that we were gonna accept this land? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is
They,
part of the whole deal.
the planning board recommends that the Board of Selectmen accept the gift.
Okay.
That is their recommendation.
Okay.
The Conservation Commission can acquire land in and of, by itself,
That's what I thought, yeah.
and that's what they plan to do.
How would they acquire this land by themselves?
It was a condition of the permitting approval.
But wouldn't we still have to sign off on it?
I'm not sure.
That's what we have to-
Probably, and I've asked legal, I put this in, it's a last minute article. You know, the details have to be worked out, and they'll be worked out by town meeting. It really depends on, you know, it's a dispute between the planning board and the conservation commission, basically.
If I may, I mean, I don't wanna slow the process down, obviously, you just gotta go to town meeting anyway, correct? If it goes this
Yes.
way. I mean, I don't wanna slow down the building process. And, obviously, sometimes I think the builder may want it to go conservation so that they don't end up with who knows what behind them, giving it to the town, you know. But it doesn't look like, if the planning board has got this and it's to remain as open space, I mean, to me, that's the way to go. That at least gives you a little bit more leeway of what you can do with it. And I think the open space committee, I think, is easier to deal with than.
Well, I mean, if I can chime in, I would put it on the warrant, but I would not vote on it tonight until we get a better explanation of,
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah, from a procedural perspective. Let's get it on the warrant and then let's get it figured out, and then we can either yay or nay it when we get
Right.
there,
Okay.
when we get the explanation.
Okay. Mike, on any of that non-conservation part of it, that acreage, would any of it be possibility for active recreation, like fields or anything like that, ball fields or anything like that? Do you know of?
Well,
I haven't seen the carve out of it, so I'm not
yeah,
sure what it is
I don't know
exactly.
if what it's good for, Stu, but they want to have that option. If it is,
Well, if it is, I think the
usable.
town needs that option, quite
Yeah.
frankly. I mean, that's just, yeah, that's where I'm headed
but
with
the
it.
Conservation Commission doesn't care for that option.
I get it. But I do.
So,
All right, moving on.
procedural perspective, is it on this latest warrant we have?
No, this is,
Well, that's
It
the
will
last
be.
page.
right,
Okay, so
it'll,
it
it'll
will
be
be.
16
I didn't wanna
thirty-four.
reprint the whole
Yeah,
thing.
so there we
Eight
go.
of eight, okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Got
All
it.
right, so do we wanna go one-on-one and vote on these guys? You guys all
Sure.
good with that? Okay.
You want
I need a quick
to make a motion to close the warrants first?
Before we vote on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Move to close the warrant?
Lower in.
Warrants, we have two, yeah.
Special town meeting and annual town meeting.
So moved. All in favor?
Oh, well, it's discussion.
Discussion.
You didn't get a second. Did you get a second? Oh,
Oh, I did a so moved, but anyway.
I'll second it.
Okay, there you go. Discussion.
Do we feel that this is complete?
Stab fund.
Yes. There could only be, a, legal change. Right now, those 3 articles regarding the revolving funds,
Yes, we were looking for answers on.
yeah, I don't have that answer, whether we have to take an affirmative vote to discontinue them, or by not.
Voting on them, they
re-
go away.
Certifying them, will they, which way is the best way to do it?
So, I mean, if I may continue,
Mhm.
we see no need in the future at this point for opening it up again. I mean, because many times in the past, we close it, and I always sort of say, why do we bother? Because we end up opening it up for changes.
Well, the Finance Committee has not looked at this and has not made any discussions or recommendations. So I don't think you can consider it a done deal until they have
And they're
made the recommendations.
they're due to look at it next Wednesday.
This coming Wednesday is the first time they're looking at it. They were waiting for it to close. The only thing that could really happen, I think, is things would come off, that they wouldn't recommend funding. And if, I had a brief conversation with the chairman today, and if the snow keeps piling up there won't be too many CIP articles that they will be recommending.
Last I saw it was 277, 278 for snow.
It was, yeah, 177 in deficit. And there's 356,000 total available to cover the deficit.
Okay. That 177 did not include this last storm over the weekend.
That, it did not include the last two storms.
Oh, I thought it included the last big one.
No, it was cut off on that Friday, and it was a
Okay.
long weekend storm, it was a
All right.
3-day event, so.
So we're gonna be right on the razor's edge probably when it comes to free cash paying for snow this year.
I mean, we could be, we're probably over 200,000 in deficit now.
Mhm.
I think that's safe to say.
Right.
And that would leave us 156,000. I don't wanna jinx anybody, but I, you know, we're looking at March, and hopefully we won't have too many more of those.
Maybe March will be a lamb.
Got above freezing, for 2 days.
Yeah.
Ugh,
If I may,
sure.
Steve, glad you're here. It's good that you'd asked a question a couple meetings ago about if we would need a town meeting warrant, anything to do with the senior center. And I thought that you were gonna look into that. Was there,
I think I mentioned something about a declaration or a proclamation or some kind
Well,
of
yeah.
declaration. But I don't know if it was here or not. I think
it
that
was, yeah, it
that
was at a
the
meeting,
question, right?
it was at a meeting here.
No, I mean, I didn't know if it was a warrant type thing or a separate type
Well, I
thing,
thought
but-
that you put it there that way, whether we would need something, but if you didn't, then I'm asking.
Well, that was my question.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I've got it on my agenda for tonight too.
so,
As far as
Dollars.
putting something
Dollars,
formally
yeah.
on,
Do we, is it too early yet to do this, or are we waiting till the next, waiting till, fall town meeting to do something? I mean, do we need money? I did have a brief conversation with, with Council on Aging, over the weekend, and she was gonna have an architect look at things. So, Colleen said architect could look at things, they need some office space, but she didn't really have I don't think they're ready for a number yet,
Well, there is money in the budget for a small amount of money,
Yeah, how much?
about $11,000.
It's not gonna get us far.
But the discussions we've had with the school was they would be able to provide a lot of
it in-house, right?
material and
You're gonna wanna,
working.
we're gonna wanna follow up on that.
We need to have a memorandum of understanding written out between the Board of Selectmen and the
So that'll
school
be the
committee.
official action.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be a warrant article or anything.
No,
like
it
that.
would be a
Okay.
memorandum of understanding.
Well, do we want to put an article that says allocate up to
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah,
$1,000 next year, so it's there if we.
if we need it.
the budget is laid out. I mean, I think Mike and Colleen have worked out a budget. I mean, she's got she'll need a copy machine. I think she could move in and start using it even without any changes. I mean, I think she'd like to see some, but
Must need some furniture, right?
Well,
Well-
all the furniture is either coming from Pearlie or Pembroke.
that's what they're talking, yeah.
Yeah, all the older
Yeah,
stuff.
she was gonna go over there and look,
Yeah.
she had mentioned that to me.
Mhm.
But, again, to Steve's point, should we put something out there that says we, allocate X amount of dollars, where it's coming from? I don't know, cause if snow and ice is done, where do we get the money from? Stab fund? I mean, I think we need to support this, 150% support this, and be able to put some money up for what she needs.
For reconstruction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doors
Absolutely.
and entranceway and all
Yeah,
that.
absolutely,
I think doing it upfront right is important, because otherwise it'll be 10 years and they'll be like,
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
still
Oh, I'm
trying
on
to do little things. I just don't know magnitude, that's the only thing I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
magnitude of what we need. So what, I mean, I'd be up for putting your favorite thing, Gary, a placeholder in there.
If needed,
And put a number on it now?
And put a
or
number
not?
on it, and then we could override the number or pass over it
On town
at
meeting,
a
yeah.
town meeting.
Yeah.
But
I think that'd be a
it's-
good idea. You guys up for it?
yeah.
I am.
Well,
I'm
because it gives
definitely up
it
for
gives
it.
the community the opportunity to weigh, there's other items in there,
Mhm.
capital items,
Yeah.
assuming they were all in there, it gives them the opportunity to weigh where they wanna put our money.
Oh, I agree. I think we should add one.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
So can I do this with a
You
motion?
wanna do a motion?
Sure.
I move to add an article to, is it appropriate? Funds for the new senior center, not to exceed $25,000? $50,000. Do I hear 60?
I would say, you know, again, I would, again, we have control over this on town meeting floor, but I would, you know, again, not to chime in on your
No chime.
100,000, just in case, up to, and then we can adjust it from there, if needed.
probably making Mike break out my sweat
I
over
know, it's all right, that's why we have
I-
a stabilization fund.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that,
I mean, if we
I think it's clear we wanna do it right
once,
up front,
We do
so-
it right once.
Right.
Correct.
Okay,
Or
Absolutely.
no, we could do it wrong 10 times.
so did you have a final figure on that?
Yes, my final figure was $100,000.
well, at this point, we really, I mean, if
Guys
you
are
want to
killing me.
put a number in, you can, but, the actual warrant article doesn't need a number. It's the motion that needs the number.
On the floor of the town meeting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So would
you
this
can-
be
you can
ATM
say-
1635 then, right?
Yeah, it would.
Okay.
And then you'd say,
Appropriate
to
amount.
see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money for the senior center, for the
Rehabilitation.
build out.
fitting, the build out or the fitting of the
Senior center at
New-
Pearlie.
I would say the establishment of the senior center, because that covers a much
Okay.
broader.
Okay.
I mean, I was just going by, these articles do have numbers in them in parentheses. Is that just for our edification? Does that
Yes.
come off?
Well, I agree with what you're saying, Mike, but I also think that it's fair for us to talk about a number here tonight and at least see where we all are. I mean, we're all in agreement on this, which is wonderful, and, as you say.
Yeah, I would just like to make sure we do it right up front,
Yes.
as you guys are all thinking, so
So,
that's fine.
it don't need to be.
All right, did we have a second?
Well, we're not sure what we're seconded, or
Okay.
is the
Yeah.
motion
Well,
gonna
as
be,
the-
is the motion gonna be
The article is seconded, from what I understand, and the dollar value is only in the motion. It's not gonna be in the actual article.
what they,
Right. Gary seconded your motion of putting the placeholder, pretty much establishing it, so,
Mike gave us the number that
Yeah.
we need.
so we're good.
Do we need to put that number in the motion, I guess, as we, I
No.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
we didn't anything, so.
All right. All those in
There's gonna be some,
discussion?
yeah, sure, certainly.
Further discussion?
Yeah, I don't think that, you know, we are going out of bounds by saying, you know, putting at least $100,000 if we have to into a senior center when we spent millions and millions of dollars on other projects in town. So this is, you know, about time,
Mhm.
you know, now it's their time to make sure that we step up to the plate and appropriate the money for a real good senior center for our seniors. And not too long, Gary and I will be probably
Utilize it.
using that establishment.
I use it
But-
now.
That's not my motivation, Mr. Chairman, but,
Okay.
listen.
Feather in your own
a lot-
bed there, buddy.
Plenty of seniors have made the sacrifice to support, you know, the schools, the overrides, and everything else that we're doing in town. It's about time now we step up to the plate.
Are we gonna put a
Agreed.
Dave Surface memorial
No,
or
no, I don't want
memorial
anything named
wheelchair in
after me
there
at all.
and
No,
with a plaque or
absolutely
anything?
not.
Wheelchair.
Wheelchair. Walker.
Walker.
I'm a walker guy.
All right, any further discussion, gentlemen? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Hey, Grant, if there's something in here, $50,000 for steel doors, I guess your number is.
Well,
Listen, Gary, you know, these things add up quick, you know.
there you go.
Yeah, these things add up quick.
Especially, yeah, prevailing wage,
Didn't
yes.
finish the original motion to close the,
Well, no,
Motion
yeah, we
and a
haven't,
second
because we've
to-
been adding to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
There was a motion and a second to,
Right. So any further discussion on closing the warrant?
I don't know, do we have to?
We can always reopen it if we
I
need to.
know it.
So-
Well, the reason to close it is you're closing it
To see,
to,
citizens petition.
For
yeah.
people to put in these
so
things.
the-
Well, you always mention that, and me, on the other hand, I encourage people to get citizens petitions if something's not working out for them, so.
Right, and-
Oh, absolutely.
If the system isn't working for
And the
you,
citizen petition you have to accept
but we
anyway.
still need a timeline for
I think
that.
we'd know by now
We,
if there
we
was
need a,
something.
we need a
out there,
timeline
right?
also,
Yeah.
so in realizing that,
Right.
because even if they put something in, there'd have to be possible public hearings held and things of that sort, so.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
All right. Why don't we, take these one at a time?
Can we do the consent ones all at once?
Yeah, well, unless people have questions with them, let's.
do we wanna do them tonight, or do we wanna wait until we've got more information on them? I mean, cause we got no
Well, you know,
dollar.
that's a good point,
we've
because you
got
know what,
no
the
dollar amounts.
Concom's gonna come, I mean, I'm sorry, the, FinCom's gonna come back with some recommendations in some of these, right, or all of these?
I know community
Anything, yes,
president,
all of them.
Yeah, all of them are
Especially anyone.
money oriented, pretty much.
Appropriating funds.
Yeah.
There's some here that are all scratched out. I mean, those are going out, right?
Yes.
well, that's
So why
what
don't we
Mike said
clean
he
this
didn't
up?
have the answer on yet, correct, you said earlier?
Because, right, like, isn't 10 going, isn't 12 going, isn't 14 going?
Well,
Those
We just
are
added
revolving
2
funds.
I think
tonight.
that's what Mike said, he wasn't sure whether we have to officially vote it out or bypass it.
Well, they will definitely be out.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if we have to take an affirmative vote to
On the
To-
floor, okay,
discontinue them.
all right.
So like we.
Even though they're struck out on this?
Where these just re-up them for another year.
So, Mike, I have a question.
I'm
On
confused.
Article 11, for instance, that's a Camp Dennison revolving fund. Why would that fund
those you've taken off.
still be in and not struck while the machinery programming and access peg programming and conservation department revolving funds are going away?
Because it's a legal revolving fund. It has a dedicated source of funding.
Okay, whereas these other ones
But
are,
wouldn't 12 fall
outside
under
of it.
that?
well, that's,
Cause see, that was my question, was if we strike 12, I think Stu had asked us, or somebody, is how then are we going to fund the cable program? Is it gonna be through a line item, or?
Actually, they need to have a budget in the town budget, and this, according to the DOR, the funds from cable access are a general fund revenue. We're treating it as a revolving fund revenue, and that's incorrect.
okay.
Couldn't we keep it as a revolving fund for the funding part of it from, because I thought there was some contractual stuff there, and then we could draw the salaries yearly out of it? Isn't that the idea, like that, isn't that how the fire department works and 11?
No, they're different.
Okay,
The local access money is, and all I can do is repeat myself, from the DOR, it's a general fund revenue. It should be going, it's not a,
Dedicated.
dedicated, or it's not a fund for, like the ambulance or the electricity or the water.
okay, so I'd have to look, I'm not sure how much this adds up to a year, but let's, and as you say, it would be nice to be seeing a budget from them, but in front of us, but if they get, I'll use the term $100,000, I see that number there in that, not to exceed. If they get that and they only use 95, is that 5 going to now stay in the general fund as free cash, where with the revolving fund, that would have possibly stayed in the revolving fund, where I think contractually it was meant to go?
That's the definition of general fund money, yes.
So I haven't finished reading. I asked Mike to pull the contract, so I haven't finished reading through the contract. I
Okay.
hope to finish that tonight.
Yeah,
The cable
okay.
contracts,
So
because
we'll-
when we were doing them, I vaguely recall that there was some language in the contract that said all of the PEG money coming from Comcast and Verizon can only be used for PEG programming, cannot be used for general fund in any other purpose in the town. Now, I know when we did Verizon's contract, we had negotiated money up front that hasn't been spent. That's just literally floating in that account. So that account that they have will have a few $100,000 of upfront money plus additional quarterly money from the cable systems. Because I think it was 175,000 we had negotiated up front with Verizon. That was it was 25. Well, it was a payment of 175 basically for the license fee, or for the for building out studios and cameras and infrastructure and whatnot, and then it was a payment schedule of over 15 years of that 175 or so. So it was like 25 the first year, and then year 5 another 25, or however. I don't remember how the payment schedule broke out. But I recall both contracts had language in them that said the dollars cannot be spent on anything but equipment, personnel, whatever.
Well, that's different.
So is there a way to track all of
That's
that?
different than the basically the cable tax they put on your bill. It's a franchise.
Yeah,
That's the franchise fee
it's the PEG fee.
is general fund revenue.
Right, but that can only be used for infrastructure.
Not if it's general fund revenue.
I remember we had a debate over it as far as a bunch of departments wanted to take that years ago, revenue from the Comcast contract, original one, to be able to fund some other project in town, and Comcast chimed in and says, no, you can't touch it.
You getting conflicting stories from DOR on that, Mike?
Yes.
And they've read through the contract also?
No, it's by definition, general fund revenue, regardless of what the contract says. I mean, the cable companies don't want to see it go to the general fund, but it's, according to DOR, it's general fund revenue, and you, by definition, can't earmark general fund revenue.
And we have that in writing from DOR?
It was on the recommendation list.
It's in the, yeah.
Yeah,
it's in
that's what I
the-
mean, we have
yeah,
that in writing, right?
Yes.
But again, like I said, I have to review the contract. Mike would
My fear is
probably
that,
review it too.
my
with
fear
Comcast.
might be, if I may, that if we're not spending it all and it's not in this fund, could the cable company ask for it back, what doesn't get funded? And then it doesn't go towards anything except their pocket. If that's,
I don't know, that's why I have to
so
review the contract.
to me, that would, this has been in process and I think working. And I just, before we take that out, I think we need more answers, but, Stu, you're working on that, and if Mike, you continue to work on it.
That money that you were referring to, Stu, that's over the lifetime of the contract, that can be, I don't know, and I'm assuming it is, being treated as a grant. So there's a separate account for that type of money. If they have to make payments over a period of years.
Yeah,
It's separate from the franchise fee.
Right, which is the PEG monthly fee.
Yeah. So that is allowable. It's earmarked, it's for a specific purpose, but once again, the franchise fee is not.
All right, well, let's look at the contract. I have the Comcast contract, but I'll have to get the Verizon one too, because they're virtually identical.
Yeah, and
the
I
contracts.
read it this summer or fall, and I didn't see anything in there that earmarked the funds.
Okay.
If
I remember there being a battle before you were here, when I was on the cable committee, about the funds, and other departments in town were trying to take the funds to be able to fund whatever. And there was, Comcast was involved, the town administrator was involved. Do you remember that? That was, I don't remember what year that was.
What the funds were gonna be used for, though.
Yeah, people were just trying to grab the money to do something in their department or whatever.
If I,
Yes.
is this pretty much funded now entirely from cable and television services?
100%.
Yeah, everything, yep.
Okay.
They don't spend everything that comes in.
No, they
It's
definitely-
So the rest of it
accumulating
remains in the revolving fund?
right now,
Yep.
yes.
But it would be there if we needed it, because I thought at some point, weren't we supposed to try to add live stuff with, did that ever get over
They,
at the school and things of that sort? I
well,
thought there was-
Yeah, I've talked to the chairman, and they were planning on wiring the second floor conference room
Yes, yes.
and the basement
Yeah, I
conference
know
room.
you'd mentioned some stuff here.
So they're planning on doing that. I'll follow up with them this week, because I haven't heard anything further on that. But
So
that,
if we go this
that was the
route,
plan.
that might not be there next year, because it would roll into free cash.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, sounds like it.
potentially, but
For
that's
me, I would say it's been there, it's been working, so DRR said to do it this way, that's just advisory.
right. It doesn't mean we have to, but right. Yes and
I
no.
do what DRA tells me to do.
Okay, well, they may be overstepping.
DOR.
DOR. They may be overstepping.
Freudian
the
slip
bounds.
there, Mike.
Yeah, right. All right, well, to be determined, and we'll
Thanks.
have further discussion. But you know what, I agree
Thanks for
with,
the time.
without getting our info back yet from FinCom, I think we should hold off on a vote on,
When does this
Yes.
go final? Mr. Chair, when do we print? When's our last date for?
2 weeks before the,
Have to-
It has to
it
post
has to
2
be
weeks.
posted 2 weeks prior
before
to
May
the
4th.
town meeting. But
We have time.
So we have the month of March and still have plenty of
And
time if
April.
we're done by March.
yes, the drop dead date is April 4th. We need at least a month in between to have final legal review and things like that.
Was that motion for both warrants?
I was just gonna ask that. That was for both warrants, so we had that as, okay.
Do we actually vote?
Yeah, we did. We closed it.
I thought we did.
Yeah, you did.
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Sorry.
All right, so we're gonna put this
Oh, that's
on.
right, we were having discussion on whether to vote on them individually, that's
I
what
know,
led,
yeah.
that's what led to all this discussion.
Yeah, it's been
Right.
swirling around. Pushing the peas around the plate here. All right, Mike, nothing on budget update at this point, right? Nothing further from.
No, the
state or-
finance committee has not met since
Okay.
we last met, and nothing new out of the state.
Okay, and I know,
Governor's budget is not gonna be released until March 4th.
okay. So more to come there. Gentlemen, the next meeting, March 9th, is that correct? We're gonna have an executive session at 6, if we can all make it.
I will be in Washington DC on my annual trip.
Pilgrimage.
Yep,
Okay. Your lobbying
my
pilgrimage?
lobbying pilgrimage.
All right.
So I
Um,
won't be here. I'll
We're
be in
planning on
DC.
having an executive session with the school committee on the labor negotiations.
Very good.
All right. Anything else to add?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh,
Mike and I will be in attendance on the 18th with the school committee for the labor contract negotiations with the teachers union, so
Very good.
we will have more to follow up at some point. All right, I think that's it then, right? Mike, anything, or?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Steve?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Good night.
Stay warm.
Yeah, good luck with that.